That's not my responsibility. If these whores can't keep their legs closed, you can't blame me for not wanting to give them food benefits.
Trans people can't exist. Women should vote. Where do we have slavery again?
When you distance yourself from God, you don't know what truth is. You don't know what morality is. You don't know what anything is. You have no order. You have no purpose.
If you want to live in a theocracy, you can. You can go to Pakistan, Afghanistan.
So if it's a chick with a dick, then they're a man, all right? Or they're not a man. I don't even know. This whole thing is so confusing, and I debate this for a living. Yeah, hi, my name is Eleazar Perez. I engage in what's called street debates. So I go out into the streets and I debate people within their faulty worldviews, and I like to destroy their worldviews. I've been on a few things like Jubilee, the Whatever podcast, Temple, but I primarily do street debates. So I will be taking the affirmative position today, as in religion should influence law. And I am looking forward to this debate.
Hey, everybody, I'm Ceci. I'm the host of the Putting You On podcast. I'm a political pundit and comedian. You have seen me on Jubilee. I've done the Daily Wire's bar fight with Michael Knowles and Adam Mockler. I am today, should religion influence law? My position is no. And you can follow me on all my socials at Very Ceci.
All right. So I guess, Ceci, I'll just lay out a little bit about my position, and then I'll ask you a question so we can clarify each other's. And I want to be good faith, obviously, to understand what we're both standing for. But my main position is that something is always going to influence us as a society. So whether it's religion or secular views or agnostic views, it is inevitable. So like dogma itself is inevitable. You're going to dogmatically teach something to someone. So for me, my position is that I believe that religion itself, specifically the Christian religion, provides the best foundation for ethics. When people think of human rights, women's rights, they think of the things that were given by Christianity itself. In terms of like the stats, when we look at the empirical data, we look at stats from like the mental health stats, the relationships, the marriages, the lack of abuse, the adoption, all those things are much better off when living under more Christian values than if not. So I guess my question would be, Ceci, maybe just to kind of start, would be like, what is your position in terms of like, why do you think religion should not influence law? And are there like any specific objections you have to it that maybe I could address?
Well, I wasn't really sure how to prepare for this debate because as America, you can just nod your head yes to no this question. You're an American, you love America. Right. Okay, we both do. But the thing is when someone tells me that they feel America should be founded on any type of religious belief, I don't feel that you are an American, because the ideals that this country was founded on, you don't believe in. The founding fathers, when establishing the country, could have put a faith in place, but they didn't. In fact, in the First Amendment of our Constitution, there's the separation of church and state, because we were trying to break away from an autocracy, a theocracy, monarchy, whatever, at the time in England. And I feel like when you decide it's going to be Christianity, you're also putting that religion above all others. In a country where we have decided we're going to establish democracy and freedom through choice, and that is the freedom to practice whichever religion you want, or lack thereof. You cannot legislate a religious belief because it's not something everyone subscribes to.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say this, Ceci, which I was ready for. So when I say that religion should influence law, I'm not saying that we should have like the church and the state be together. I'm not saying that we should have the church overlooking everybody, or that we should get people to be Christians in terms of like by force, or even by like forcing something upon someone else. What I am saying is influence itself. So even though there is a separation of church and state from the founding fathers, that doesn't mean that they can't be influenced by moral convictions themselves. So there is a separation there within itself, because once again, if you were like a doll and we had to start you from like brand new, from scratch, from nothing, you would still have to input beliefs, input certain actions into that doll to know what it's going to come out on the output and behave as. So that's the only position that I'm taking. I'm not saying like by force, or that we even need to have a Christian nation. I'm saying that from my view, the Christian foundation would serve as the best for the country itself.
Okay, but this is, should religion influence law? And so if we're talking about law, we're talking about legislation. And what the influence, like, I get what you're saying, like, oh, the church doesn't need to be the reign over the government, but if it has that religious influence, it is. And we've seen the influence. It took away Roe v. Wade from a number of states. It's hurt people. We've seen that the religious influence of law actually hurts its citizens. It doesn't help the greater good. So I guess my question is, what new laws would you put in place? How would your religious influence bring back the 186 billion that was cut from SNAP, or the 10 million people that are being kicked from Medicaid, or lower the premiums that have now been tripled? These are the things that people care about. How would your religion help those problems?
So I think it is important to, because you asked some great questions. I think it is important to lay the groundwork in terms of what morality even is. Because if I were to grant you that religion itself is false, like Christianity itself is false, I would still say from a secular, pragmatic view, we should still adopt Christian ethics. And the reason why I'll say this is because there is a natural law that Christianity provides. And I would be curious from your view, whether, I don't know if you're agnostic or secular, but I'm curious from your view, what would it provide in terms of like what is right, what is wrong? When you said like Roe v. Wade harms people, like taking that away, that sounds like a harm reduction principle. So would you take a harm reduction principle as far as what makes something right and wrong? Or where do your beliefs come from in terms of like making an ethical claim?
Well, obviously, everything is going to be relative because people have different morals. But we as a society have decided in law, like murder is wrong. These things are wrong. I mean, if you're going to go based on religious influence, that's why I'm asking, what laws would you change? What laws would now be put into place? Are you Old Testament, New Testament guy? Like, what you should religion influence law? You have to show me how it would and how that would be better for us. Because if you want to live in a theocracy, you can. You can go to Pakistan, Afghanistan, you could go to Yemen. Yes, they're Islamic, not Christian, but you're fine with imposing a certain specific religion onto people. So if you want to live in a theocracy, you can. It's just not America. You can't do that here because the ideals that we were founded on are not these.
Ceci, you can nod your head if you want. If you have to unmute, then let me know too. But can you agree that from the secular view, everything would just be a preference? I'll pass it to you.
No, because I mean, in law, we're talking about law. Like I'm talking about legislation. I'm talking about real things. So in law, we already have. That's why I'm asking, what laws would change? We already know murder is wrong. That's on the books. Like we have laws. Theft is wrong. We know that. That's on the books. What in the Bible would you then bring over to actual legislation? Because
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Sorry. No, I was just gonna answer the question. So, I guess I'm trying to get to the root of it to go into the specifics of it because I do want to say like which specific things I think that law or religion should influence the most. However, the reason we need to clarify this is because if we do admit that religion itself is false and we remove religion out of the picture, I'm looking at it from like the lens of the impossibility of the contrary, meaning like what does secularism itself? When you're an atheist, you don't hold a worldview, you don't hold principles, you don't hold any frameworks. All you're doing is you're denying the absence of something. That's all you're doing.
I'm confused. Are you saying if you're an atheist, you're immoral? Like we don't have morals, we don't follow the same laws? I'm confused by that statement. What does that mean?
No, I'm asking what is morality under the atheist view? Like, is morality like, is it just a preference? Is it like, is there anything specific? Because this is important, Ceci, real quick, just to clarify. When we're talking,
No, you're absolutely right. We're products of our environment. I am influenced by my parents and the laws that we grew up with and things like that. Outside influence, 100% there is that. But for me, I never needed the Bible to tell me that killing someone was wrong or that adultery would be wrong or that theft is wrong. So maybe for some people, they need religious influence to be better. But that doesn't mean that you need to legislate based on that religious belief.
so if we were to grant you once again, if we remove religion out of here and we say, okay, I'll concede the debate, you're right. If we do you think most people inherently within themselves can make good decisions?
Yes, I do. I do. I think people know that killing is wrong. I think people know that pedophilia is wrong. I think people know the difference between right and wrong. People just choose sometimes to not be a good person or to be a good person. And a lot of these things sometimes are based on the conditions they're in, whatever. There's so much outside influence that to say religion should influence law, it's just too blanketed. I don't know what laws you're talking about. What would change? In the Bible, there's terms and instructions on slavery. We don't practice slavery. This book was written by 40 different men in biblical times where, like I've heard you say women shouldn't vote, but that's not something that's in the Bible because we didn't practice democracy and voting as we do in modern times then because they had emperors and rulers. So again, should religion influence law? You haven't told me how it would, other than it might make people better.
We'll get to it, Ceci, but I do want to. The first thing you said, because this was an important question, I asked you. Do people, are they inherently good? Do they make good decisions? You said yes, innately people know not to murder, not to rape, pedophilia, etc. So if that's the case, why have laws at all?
Because people need to be punished for when they do bad things. That's why we have laws to stop people from doing these things. Those laws, that's why I'm asking you, what laws would change? You're still talking about murder and pedophilia, which we know are wrong, is against the law. And well, most people get punished except for our president for things like this. So I'm again,
You say we know it's wrong. Who is we? Like, are you saying most of society? Are you and your friends? Like, who's people? Like, but which people? Like, there's a lot of people that you just said we need laws for certain people. So which people?
so we have laws to stop criminals or to lock up criminals once they've acted on their bad behavior. Humans are humans. There's always going to be terrible people. That's why we have laws. Again, I just want to know, when you say religion should influence law, what laws are changing? What is going to change? Paint the America that it looks like. What does it look like for me as a woman under a religious rule? What does it look like for a trans person, a gay person? Are they allowed to marry? Can we eat shrimp? What is going on? This is what I'm talking about. Influence how?
Well, I'm trying to get to that, but Ceci, like, we're making moral judgments right now. So I don't. This is the reason why this is going to go in a circle, Ceci, and I'll tell you why. Okay. So when we ask the question, should religion influence law? That's a normative statement. That's a normative question, meaning that we're making a moral judgment. So my question is, from the secular view, how can you make any moral judgment? How can you say whether it should be religious or not religious? Like, on what basis? It's just your.
Then why Christianity? Then why Christianity? If it just needs to be religious, why not Islam? Why not, go off the Quran or the Torah? Why Christianity? Because you want to.
Yeah, because it's within my realm of preferences, and it seems to provide the best results. So it sounds like we're in the same boat, Ceci. You have a preference and I have a preference, right?
No, we're not in the same boat, because you can live your life the way you see fit with your preferences. And I feel I should be able to as well. I don't believe in religion. I don't know if there's a God. I'm not a full-blown atheist. I preach I don't know. But realistically, you want to impose your personal beliefs onto others to take on those beliefs. That's not for you to do. They're not living life for you. You just said, oh, because it would be better for me. That's the most, I would think, unchristian, selfish viewpoint.
That was the best representation, Ceci. That I never said for me. I said it produces better results. I didn't say that for me. Maybe I could say from my lens. Maybe it's a subjective. It would be a preference, my preference, I guess you could say. But it's not, when you're saying it's about me or for me. That's not.
Okay, so please tell me, what does America look like under a religious influence? What do gay people, trans people, women, do I get to vote?
So yeah, so let me break this down then, since you asked like gay people, trans, and all that. So under what I would view from like the Christian serving as a foundation, there would be a natural order, meaning that there is a telos, there is a purpose. Like, someone's penis and someone's vagina isn't just another organ of their body. It has some sort of sanctity to it. The way we use it is important, which is the reason why we put laws in place to stop pedophiles and rapists, because there is something special, different from the penis and the vagina. So in the same way, we have like two sexes. So like, there's a large gamete, which is ova, small gamete, which is sperm. We know there's only male or female. And when they get together, assuming like menopause and fertility, none of that is taking place, there is a procreation act that is going to take place that's going to create new life. There's a natural order. There's a purpose and a function to everything. So in the same way, I would ban abortions. I would not permeate the delusion that you're in the wrong body, that you're trans, because people don't even know what transness is. It's just a belief system. It's just a feeling. In the same way, if I say I'm Superman, therefore it's true, it doesn't make it true. We still live in a material, physical reality. And so from the Christian worldview, I believe we should adhere to truth, not what you would ascribe to, which could be pragmatism or harm reduction or what makes people feel good. But I'm going to tell them the truth, even if that hurts feelings, to have a natural order in place, because as a society, we're all contingent upon everyone else.
So in your religious rule, you would ban abortions, and so we would add to the population. Okay, cool. We're adding to the population. Did you come up with the resources to fund SNAP again, to feed those kids? See, this is what I'm talking about. What you're going to do is create problems. You're not going. These laws that you want to implement will harm people. They don't solve the problems we're currently facing. We cannot feed our children. You want to add more kids to the world by.
That's not my responsibility. If these whores can't keep their legs closed, you can't blame me for not wanting to give them food benefits. What are you talking about? You're blaming me for their bad decisions.
You are so unchristian, it's insane. It is insane. You hate women. I've heard you say that we shouldn't vote. Though I'll tell you right now, if we're not voting, does that mean I don't get to pay? I don't have to pay taxes? Because that's taxation without representation. Another keystone reason we founded this country. And then on top of it, you're telling me trans people don't exist. So you've just listed a bunch of shit people can't do, people can't be, and that's supposed to be for the greater good. That's supposed to make, I don't know how that makes America better. And at the end of the day, you said, because I want to be based on truth. We don't know if God is 100% real. In fact, most religions, you're all competing for who has the best imaginary friend. And if you want to go through it, let's go crazy shit in the Bible. I mean, are you kidding?
Wait, you said we don't know if God is 100% real. Answer this. It's a simple question. What makes something real, and what makes that real thing that you're talking about different than an imagination? Are imaginations real?
Your five senses. We go off the five senses. Okay, listen, religion is a belief that you are taught. That is something you are indoctrinated with. It is not inherent to a person. But you want to impose your religious personal beliefs onto someone else in the way of forcing a lifestyle onto them. That in itself is so un-American, and to me it sounds really unchristian. It doesn't sound like the thing Jesus would be like cheering for. I mean, are you okay? Also, how would this fix anything? Your laws, ICE, picking up and deporting immigrants who have no criminal record. Didn't Jesus want you to welcome strangers?
What you're doing is you're doing the "what would Jesus do" thing, and then you guys say he's a socialist, he's pro-trans. Like, you guys don't know Jesus. You don't know what love is. When you distance yourself from God, you don't know what truth is. You don't know what morality is. You don't know what anything is. You have no order. You have no purpose. So you can't really use the whole "what would Jesus do" thing on me, because it doesn't work. And also, when you said the I'm happy to go into the ICE thing if you want, but because I actually might even find common ground with you on that stuff. But also within like the trans part, like if that's not a delusion, what makes them trans? Like, just give me an example. I'll use this as an example to prove to you how your worldview is absurd.
I thought you were going to give me an example of something just now. With trans people, I'm not trans, so I can't speak to their feelings or situation. But I believe someone when they tell me I'm in the wrong body. I feel this is in the DSM-5. We literally, this is a thing. It's real. Trans people are here. They're real. Get over it. It's not Santa Claus. It's not the Easter Bunny. It's not God. They're here. They're real. Five senses.
What makes them? You said five senses. So is the mind? You can just nod. Is the mind a part of the senses? The feelings, are they a part of the senses? There's five senses, right? Your mind is a part of the senses? Do you grant yourself the mind in those five senses?
Okay, so you haven't at all made a good argument for why religion should influence law, other than maybe bad people won't make bad decisions. You've said nothing that would actually want to make someone jump on your bandwagon here. You've just told me that trans people can't exist, women should vote. Where do we have slavery again? Can we?
Ceci, I made the statement of the impossibility of the contrary. So when you're saying I'm not giving some sort of like persuasive argument for why religion should be the influence of law, I'm doing an internal critique. I'm letting you show yourself and your worldview why it's absurd when you abandon religion itself. I don't need to like influence you as to why you need to follow religion. It's going to speak for itself. And so like right now, when you can't tell me what a trans person is, you're saying this is DSM-5, use the five senses. Is the mind in the five senses? The feelings, are they in the five senses? Like that's an absurd view to take too.
Okay, again, you haven't done anything in this argument at all to convince anyone that religion should influence law. All you've done is list your beliefs. And I believe a person's beliefs control what they do. You want to control other people. That is all that you actually want to do in this. And realistically, you're all competing for who has the best imaginary friend. And you know what? I'm thinking, should we end this on a prayer? I mean, Jesus Christ, I hope that you find your way into realizing that if we're all made under the same image of God, then what did he say? What was it? Galatians 3:28, nor there's neither Jew nor Gentile, nor slave nor free, nor male and female. We're all one under Jesus Christ, right? He also said you should welcome strangers and you would be welcoming me. You have not sold Christianity or the influence in how it would be good for this country at all. You haven't done that at all. All I know about you is you don't like women, you don't like trans people, you think Christianity is above all others because you think it'd be better, make better people. You're the exact example and reason why people like me don't believe.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to show you guys why when you abandon religion, this does all the persuading for you. Okay, so Ceci believes that a man can say that he's a woman. So if it's a chick with a dick, then they're a man, all right? Or they're not a man. I don't even know. This whole thing is so confusing, and I debate this for a living. So this is how bad it's getting. So she was saying, you guys believe in imaginary beings. You're all believing in a sky daddy. But ultimately, isn't that what transness is? You believe in something that you're not. So if I say I'm Superman, that is true according to these people. She also says we shouldn't force people to adopt our beliefs. But I guarantee you, if I were to ask her, should we call people by their desired pronouns, she would say yes. Why? Because she does agree that we should force people to adopt certain beliefs in the same way she's right here on this debate panel trying to influence why we should have certain laws, but she's mad when they don't align with her ideal worldview. Okay, now she's bringing up the Bible. There's no male, no Greek nor Gentile. If you took this literal in terms of like the way you wanted to explain it, you would also say, well, there's no murders, there's no pedophiles. No, there's obviously a fucking distinction between all of these. Also, when it says no male or female, no Jew or Greek or nothing, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that we're all made in the image of God, and we can all fall into the sinful temptation. God shouldn't have rested on the seventh day. Well, he did rest. He was working really hard. He deserved it. All right. So anyways, guys, this is the absurdity. They're going to tell you, these are the people. They say murdering your child is a human right. It is healthcare. Ceci, what is the purpose of healthcare? Isn't it to save lives? Isn't it to help people move forward, not kill and end these lives? They have no structure. They have no order. When you remove religion, they become goofballs thinking, I'm a man with a vagina. No, you're not. You're just confused.